Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ariff Sufyan bin Azman. I am from class 2 of AS120, which is a faculty from Applied Science. So, for today's video, I want to talk about word stress. So, you guys know what is word stress? So, basically, word stress is a verbal emphasis on one syllable of word. This occurs in many English words that has many than one syllable. This means the meaning of a word can change if you stress a different syllable of the word. Let's see the example given. These are the example of words that I chose that has two syllables. As the general rule, most of the English words are stressed on the first syllable, and most two syllables adjective are stressed on the first syllables as well. But for verb, most of them are stressed on the second syllables of the word. There are few exceptions, but most of the time it is true. Let's take a look at the first example. So, the first word is subject. There are two ways to pronounce subject. The first one is subject. The second one is subject. The difference is subject, subject. The use of the first one is, what is the first subject today? So it refers to the subject of what they learn. So the second one is subject. The example is, our teacher is going to subject us to another assignment. So the subject here means making us. Let's proceed to the second example. So the word is produce. There are two ways to pronounce produce, which is produce and produce. So for the first one, the vendor had sold many produce that he collects from his own garden. The produce here refers to the vegetable and the fruits. So the second one, produce. The example is, plant undergoes photosynthesis to produce their own energy. So, the produce here means generate. Let's proceed to the third example, which is conduct. There are two ways to pronounce conduct. The first one is conduct. The second one is conduct. So, for the first one, the example is, the teacher isn't happy with her student conduct. The conduct here means the student's behavior. So the next is conduct. The example is, I was asked to conduct the senam aerobic team today. So the conduct here means to lead the senam aerobic team. For the fourth example, it is console. There are two ways to pronounce this word. The first one is console. The second one is console. The first example is, PS5 is a new gaming console that had just been released last week. So, the console here means the gaming console itself. The second example is console. Her mother is trying to console him after losing his football match. Console here means to comfort his son after losing the football match. For the fifth example, the word is abstract. There are two ways to pronounce this word. The first one is abstract. The second one is extract. So for the first one, the example is, Aini reads an extract from her novel. The extract here means the short section of the novel. The second one is extract. The example is, the dentist says he needs to extract one of my teeth. Extract here means to remove the teeth. The sixth example is this word, which is converse. There are two ways to pronounce this word. The first one is converse. For example, do you think Lisa is prettier than Jenny? I prefer the converse. The converse here means the opposite, which means Jenny is prettier than Lisa. The second one is converse. For example, Ali can converse in 4 different languages. Converse here means he can speak many languages. For the next example is content. There are 2 ways to pronounce this word. The first way is content. The second way is content. So, for the first example, for content, soya milk has low fat content. This means the amount of fat in soya milk is low. For the second one, content, he had to contend with the third place. This means he had to accept that he got the third place. For the eighth example, address. There are 2 ways to pronounce this word. The first one is address and the second one is address. So for the first example, address. Do you know Abu's home address? Address here means the specific location of Abu home's address. For the second one, address. The example is, we have no permission to address the emperor. The address here means to directly speak to the emperor. For the second last word, it is entrance. There are 2 ways to pronounce this word. The first way is entrance. The second way is entrance. The first example is, where is the entrance of this building? The entrance here means the place to enter this building. The second example is entrance. Are you trying to entrance me? So the entrance here means to hypnotize. For the last word for word stress, it is project. There are 2 ways to pronounce this word. The first one is project. The second one is project. For project, the example is, the businessmen are talking about $1 million project. Project here means about their work. For the second one, project, the example is, we could project the film on the wall. Project here means to display the film on the wall. I think that's all from me. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Woo!